wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name, check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change, possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud, disease, a plague. We all love to hate, have to play the game, have to make a name. All our insecurities are on display. This is war with the enemy, think that it was meant to be. Living in a time where disease is on every screen. I won't let them fester me, I know most are festering. Negativity is a plague for the mentally weak. No mercy, all I got is working.
What's going on, everybody? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is HEX Crypto, bringing you another Market Pulse in the morning. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day. Today is March 14th, Thursday, 2024. This is take two for all the people who were in just a minute ago, but either here nor there. Hopefully everything works better this time. I've adjusted some settings and we'll find out. Again, only time will tell in this situation. But we got current price of Bitcoin sitting at 71,000. Again, we're going to be diving into Bitcoin, going to be diving into Ethereum, checking out the CME watch tool. We got the latest support from the PPI, came in high, CPI came in high. So it doesn't look like they're going to be reducing rates anytime soon. So we'll be checking out that, along with, of course, the RH ecosystem, Pulse Chain, HEX, and PLSX, along with the incentive token, and some recent pump happening in HEX right now. So everyone, tune in, enjoy the show. I hope everyone's having a fantastic day, as always. And without further ado, let's take a little gander at Bitcoin. Bitcoin sitting at $71,136 right now, $145. Does look like it is actually getting a little pullback. Again, we have seen it do this pullback before. Something I do pay attention to, and something I recommend that if you are trying to watch some of these charts as well, pay attention to the candle wicks on the bottom, right? So the candle wicks in this situation are actually showing still bullish trends. So the wicks on the bottom being much lower than the wicks on the top tends to actually indicate more bullish trajectory. Not only that, we also have the Impulse MACD showing down here, incredible movement, still very bullish in this situation. This is on the daily. On the weekly, it's even more bullish. It's just doing a massive little move to the upside on this one, and you can see, if we just break this down over here, we've been on that little pump really since September of 2023. We started getting out of this little sideways action that we were sitting in for quite a while in Bitcoin. And then since then, it's just been on an absolute tear. Even from September, if you just measure this in terms of how far it's actually gone, Bitcoin has already done a 3x at this point in time from September. So pretty bullish for Bitcoin to be doing those kind of moves. People have absolutely gotten liquidated recently because of all the recent action of everything happening, along with BlackRock doing massive purchases even after Grayscale is selling all of the Bitcoin. So very curious to see how it's all going to end up playing out. Not only that, with Bitcoin being at 71,100 right now, Ethereum is also sitting at 3884. Now, one thing we did compare just a moment ago was actually looking at the Ethereum chart with the Bitcoin chart overlaid on top of it. And you can see Ethereum is moving damn near identical with Bitcoin. So what that means is as Bitcoin continues to pump, you can expect Ethereum to pump, and things tend to have a lagging indicator. And what I mean by that as well is when it comes to the overall crypto market, the way it'll go is it'll go from Bitcoin at first, and then it'll go to Ethereum, and then it goes to other layer ones, and then it goes into altcoins, and then it just has that whole alt season where then you get into the meme coin. Right now, we're basically with Bitcoin throwing massive dominance right now. In fact, the Bitcoin dominance is still sitting at 53 right now. So looking at that is something that we are paying attention to. I am wanting to see this come back and actually get back into the 50% range. That is massively bullish for other altcoins and the overall ecosystem of crypto, not just Bitcoin. Again, I'm personally not investing in Bitcoin. I don't have anything in there. I think there's better money to be made elsewhere that right now. So kind of curious on that one, guys. Let me know if the data's coming through on this one. Let me see real fast while we wait for the scene to come through. It says excellent connection. Yo, OBS is tripping, or just my internet maybe. I don't know, but I think I have pretty solid internet. They just actually installed close to fiber optic as well, so maybe I'll be looking into getting some fiber optic cable and fiber internet just to see if that actually helps improve anything. But I think 300 megabytes per second does a pretty damn good job. So Jason Smith says, let's get it again. Marcavelli in the house. Pampa, HEX. Yeah, dude, HEX is on an absolute tear right now. Speaking of, we'll just kind of pull up the actual chart for EHEX as well, so you can kind of see. So EHEX is actually going through right now, sitting at 0.0027 in the last 24 hours. Again, this is on the 4-hour chart, so keep that in mind. But it looks like so far the most recent local bottom has been 201638 is what it's showing. And from that time, it's actually almost done a 65% pump. Now, this is on a 4-hour chart, so I'm not aping in. I don't... Look, anytime that you YOLO in when something's in this little falling pattern or falling knife pattern or anything like that, you can typically expect it to do some more pullbacks as well. We've actually fallen below all the previous resistances that we actually held. So now at this point in time, there's not really too much to kind of go off of besides just see what the market's going to end up doing. At this point in time, it does look like it wants to do with a shooting star pattern or a shooting star, which is typically a bullish indicator on crypto with this TA side of things. And again, as I stated just a moment ago, when you start looking at the wicks, it's kind of giving you an idea of what the market's kind of telling you right now. So with these wicks, it's saying they are wanting to push that price up. They think that these prices are extremely juicy. If you are going to be getting in on these plays, one of the simple ways to do is do a strategy of DCA. So what I mean by that is if you have even just say $1,000 overall. So with 1,000, what you would end up doing is you would start off simple and you would put 300 right here possibly, right? And then as the price goes down a little bit lower, another 300 right here, right? And so you go 300 here, you go 300 here, another 300 here, and then you kind of keep on going through, right? And eventually, when things end up finding its bottom, it's a great way of getting it done. Now, I'm not saying that the bottom's in. I still need more data in my world to be making a decision. In fact, I've said it already that I actually want the price to go a little bit lower. And it's nothing against it, but I just want to be able to say that I got a million hex for $1,000, folks. That's always been one of the silly little goals of mine that I haven't ever been able to hit because the price would need to be 0.001 in order for me to get a million hex for $1,000. It's not there yet. So even at this level with the, it would cost 1,600 to get a million hex. That was a great buy. Those are phenomenal moves. Don't get me wrong. When you say it out loud like that, that's pretty incredible. I'm just being a little bit greedy and saying I want more, right? I think that's always the case as a human being. We always want more, but neither here nor there, folks. In the last 24 hours, we are seeing the price of the EHEX go up 21%. In the last 1 hour alone, it's up 11%. Whereas all the other market for Pulse Chain over here is sitting on negative 9% in the last 24 hours. In fact, you can actually just go to gopulse.com, I believe, if I can refresh that page. Gopulse.com, we can break this down over in the last 24 hours. You can see we got negative 10% here on Pulse. We have the PLSX price sitting at 40727, negative 13%. The Ink token coming back down, negative 6.8% at $8.19. Ethereum Pulse Chain Hex is sitting at minus 11% on this move once again, so sitting at 0.0149. Whereas EHEX again is just actually getting a recent pump of 20% in the last 24 hours. The ratio used to be around 1 to 2, now it's around 1 to 5.89. You can actually go over into this chart, over into Dex Screener, and type in EHEX versus HEX, and just see how the comparison has been as well. So let me actually pull this up. Oops, I didn't type something incorrectly here. 1 second while I get that pulled up. EHEX from Ethereum to HEX. There we go. And what you can actually do is click this little button right on up here, and it'll actually flip it so that way you can compare again the two hexes. This down here was essentially 10 EHEX for 1 hex on Pulse Chain. So keep that in mind, and it did in fact touch that level, whereas right now it's back to essentially 1 to 6. Right now we saw 1 to 5.89. Usually in this area is when you would actually swap PHEX for Ethereum Hex, but I wouldn't make that play right now. Not with everything going on. This is usually an indicator of if you're trying to trade ratios, definitely plays to do it. So you would swap your PHEX down here, and then whenever the prices are going back up again, you would swap your EHEX for PHEX. It's a ratio game. I don't advise ratio trading. It's a way to absolutely get wrecked in the ecosystem. So be careful about making that kind of play. But we are seeing a pump where Ethereum Hex is wanting to come back out of the grave that it was in right now. So just keep in mind, no one can predict the future. No one has a crystal ball. So I would not be trying to guesstimate or estimate what's going to happen in this whole ecosystem on any of that. We have the price of PLSX coming back down again. We saw that just moments ago, sitting at 40724 at this point in time. The 915 EMA is starting to curve down. The RSI is starting to curve down, and we are still forming higher highs and higher lows. So in terms of bullish behavior, this is still very bullish. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. Keep that going. It's just one of those things that is part of the market. In crypto, you are going to be getting pullbacks. That does in fact happen. If we do maintain it, I would see it coming back down to this level that we actually held as a resistance at one point in time for quite a while. And really the resistance level is right here at the 40661. So I would really be seeing that, but ideally we really want to make sure that it doesn't drop below. If it does, again, we still have higher highs, higher lows, so it still can come all the way down to this region over here, which is 4056 in that regard, before it actually wants to decide to actually break out and do what it does. Now overall on this one, we are above, or we did fall below the 786 on the Fibonacci pullback. So again, this is a high to low for the fib retracement on it that I did. So from the high to the low of where it's been, we were above the 786. Typically when things do go above 786, it is bullish. We are just had all the recent shakeout of everything happening in the ecosystem. So we just got to see how this is all going to fully play out at the end of all of it. And so I'm keeping my eye on it. I'll definitely be keeping y'all in the loop as well as I see things progressing. We have the price of Pulse Chain sitting at 30153. We can in fact see we did our full ABC retracement so far. Typically after an ABC retracement, if we are actually going into an impulse wave, we go back and actually start pumping back up again, which would be the 3017 back into this region before it does another pullback into a higher range. I do want to make sure that we are maintaining the same thing once again. Higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, higher lows. As soon as you start making lower lows, it is very common that things want to continue to push down. So it is something that we are watching, y'all. It is something that we are keeping an eye on. If we actually were to pull up a full fib chart on this one, just to kind of get a ballpark estimate of where we are right now. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Let me go from the high to the low. And in this situation, we can actually see, and I know it's a lot of drawing, so just, give me a second here, y'all. But you can actually see on this one, we are actually below the 786 as well. So we do want to make sure that we get back above that 786. Typically when things break out of the 786, it's a nice bullish zone. The next level that we'd be sitting on, if it does decide to go down into the 618, would actually be right on down here. So, whoops, let me actually see. I got a lot of drawings on here. Let me get rid of this fib for a second. And there we go. The 618 is actually going to be all the way down here. So if it makes it all the way that low, that would be tough. That would be tough. That would be 301253. But we never know, man. Crypto is crazy. I think everyone has noticed that, especially in the last few days alone. Crypto moves, man. It just moves in crazy ways. You don't exactly know what's going to happen. So there's no way of 100% predicting what's going to end up going on in the near-term future. However, you can see that we did get the pullback exactly like expected. The INC token doing the similar thing where it actually went through and did its impulse wave of the 1, 2, 3, 4. We actually would like to see this come on down some smidge more, only because typically when things do a massive pump like this, which by the way, folks, this is if you don't know, this is a 20x move in the span of 60 days, okay? So a 20x move, congrats to everyone who got in at the low down here. Absolutely killing it right there. We would typically end up seeing a pullback as well. So it's a 20x, y'all. Like, people are going to see it. They're going to take some profits. Very common to happen. In fact, some people are now swapping. They're swapping their... why do I have to use it? The stream's current bitrate is higher than recommended. Ooh, it's saying I got too much bitrate now. Well, I don't think that matters too much, but let me just change this setting to see, because I switched it over to 1080p. If y'all don't know, or if you noticed, that's what's going on right there. And let me switch this here. I believe it was 6,800. All right, cool. Suggestion 6,800. All right, cool. So hopefully that keeps everything smooth and all set and all good as well. Brissologist has a crystal ball. Yeah, right. Uh, yeah, that's basically what's going on right there, y'all. Academaciated, what's up, my friend? A-Fam, take two for sure. Checks my pulse. Hello. We got Marcavelli. Brissologist does have a crystal ball. Yeah. And again, all the crystal ball is saying is Bitcoin's going to the moon. That's Brisology's crystal ball. But hey, neither here nor there. Bitcoin is, in fact, doing some awesome things. It is going to have some pullback as well because, folks, it does that, right? It's crypto, but at the same time, people see plenty of profit-taking opportunities available in front of them. So in the most recent time, even the last 180 days, again, Bitcoin has gone and done a 3x. Now, for the normal everyday individual in crypto, a 3x doesn't make or break many people. As you just saw moments ago, the incentive token did a 20x in the span of 60 days. So again, a 3x for 180 days, that's good. But again, there's a reason why I'm not investing or personally investing any of my financial economic energy into Bitcoin. It could go up and hit $250,000 and I wouldn't blink an eye because that just makes the rest of the market bullish for everybody. So that is what's going to be going on with the recent updates of everything. The S&P 500 is down 28 pips today. NASDAQ down 95. The Dow Jones sitting at minus 200 pips today. DXY is back at 103, so a little bit higher than we'd be wanting to see. And again, everything else is just kind of floating around right now. One thing I did notice is the total crypto market cap did in fact almost hit $3 trillion, y'all. Pretty damn close to actually hitting $3 trillion, which, by the way, previous all-time high right there. 3 trillion was the previous all-time high for the overall market cap, including Bitcoin and all the other tokens, stablecoins, Ethereum, all of it. Now again, this doesn't include everything in terms of like the Pulse Chain ecosystems, not even included on here. So there's several items that aren't even listed within the total crypto market cap. So that's neither here nor there, but it is a bullish trend. If we can actually end up getting above the $3 trillion crypto market cap before the halving, that is going to be absolutely shocking, because even right here you can see its previous all-time high was back over here. Let me actually draw this little line, horizontal ray, right here. So that was the previous back in 2018 on this one. That was the previous high. It was actually a 760 billion market cap. Even going into the halving, you can see drawn out with this little dotted line. We didn't necessarily even get close to that, reaching it, and then it actually ended up taking roughly, I think it was 6 days or 6 months on this one, 230 days to actually break above after the halving actually went through. So a little over 6-7 months on that one to actually break above. If we actually end up doing that this cycle and hitting its 3 trillion market cap before the halving, pretty freaking wild. I've said this already in the past, but I do see a point in time where we are going to actually end up getting a $3 trillion market cap for Bitcoin alone, because it's already sitting at 1.4 at this point in time. Now it's 1.37 trillion dollar market cap at this point. So I'm definitely going to be seeing that go above 3 trillion, which we pointed out on the last stream that there are too many people ranked by market cap. Microsoft is actually at 3 trillion itself. Apple's below 3, Nvidia's below 3, and then you get Amazon below 2. So Bitcoin's about to flip it. Ethereum's not too far away from actually flipping all these as well. And I do see Ethereum ended up being into a 3 trillion market cap as well this cycle. So keep that in mind. We're about to see, basically it'll go gold, Bitcoin, Ethereum is how it's going to end up shaping out on this little market cap metric that we'll be checking out. I'll keep this up on screen while we actually end up checking out all that information. Now, one thing I did want to pull up is, again, we did recently get a high PPI, a little bit higher than expected, and again, a higher CPI. So what they're basically saying now is there's pretty much no chance that the Fed's going to lower the rates in March. We already can assume that because everything's ticking up. They've also raised this as well to 93.1 chance that it remains the same and it does not go down. Still a 6% chance where people are kind of hopeful saying it. One thing I am noticing is this went from 20%, or I'm sorry, this went from 20% here and 80% here almost, right? It was close to like 67, 68 to now 38% chance of staying the same rates even into June. And I anticipate that we don't actually see a rate cut at the earliest until July. So that's just my 2 cents on the whole thing for the Fed cutting rates. I do not see them cutting rates anytime soon. Things are not calming down in terms of the inflation metrics that they want to be looking at. So it is going to be a very curious thing how we're going to end up playing this whole situation. And yeah, exactly. Machiavelli's, does it. Yeah, bacon, steak, and chill. Crypto X, what's up, my friend? We back. Urban Productions, you don't know. Yeah, Westcott has another stream coming out later today. Lucky Taylor says, make it a great day, dude. 1,000%, guys. Make it a great day. Every day, as a matter of fact, is in fact another great day, another opportunity to increase your portfolio, especially prior to the big bull market just taking off and ripping faces off, because we still haven't seen that, right? In my personal opinion, we still haven't seen Bitcoin go hit the $200,000 mark, and we're gonna see some resistance at the 100,000. That's a psychological level, but we're like it's just crazy to see it all, man. It's just crazy to think that the bull market is just getting started and what the next 12 months is going to hold. The next 12 months in crypto alone is going to shock everybody. Everyone's going to have more money than they've ever had. So congrats. Get ready for that, because again, this is in the next 12 months. So keep that in mind. Make sure you have some 5 P's in place of proper preparation, preventing poor performance. Make sure you got a good profit-taking strategy in place. Make sure you have something set up in some sort of way that says, I am prepared for when it goes and does what it's about to do. Because things are about to get absolutely wild, y'all. And I do mean that sincerely. Absolutely wild. I pulled this up before, but this is basically the crypto millionaire right here. So essentially, if you just had $1,000 invested, and I'll actually go through and break it down based on tokens. So even if you just had yourself 100 million tokens, the current price, I believe, of Pulse Chain was currently sitting at 30152. So that is all good there. So 30152. So even with all this said, this is actually putting 100 million tokens, basically needing to get a 66x, putting the price of Pulse Chain from today at a penny. And I can definitely see that being a possibility. But what if you made it easier on yourself because prices are still so juicy? What if you gave yourself 200 million tokens? Well, now you only need a 33x, and now the price only needs to hit 2 zeros and a 5. Well, shit, what if you made it even easier on yourself and you got yourself 500 million Pulse tokens during this time? You would only need a 13x to reach the millionaire status on Pulse Chain from where it is right now at the current price. This isn't saying like where it's at before or anything like that. You could have even had yourself 500 million Pulse already. From this number today, you need a 13x to become a millionaire in this situation. Same for Pulse X, because the price has been so juicy for so long. If you got yourself 500 million tokens over here with the current price, and I believe it's around that 4 zeros and a 6 right now, 40716, so it's even a little bit higher than what this showed. So 40716. Again, currently need a 28x. So you need a 13x in Pulse Chain, a 28x in Pulse X. You become a millionaire in Pulse Chain. You become a millionaire in Pulse X, and then heck, any other tokens that you have as well. These are all possible too. Now again, the HEX price, we already know, got absolutely decimated recently in recent times. Current price sitting at 2026. So pulling that same information up over here, add an additional 0. But heck, what if you got yourself during this time a nice another 0 tacked on? So instead of just having 500,000 HEX, you got yourself 5 million HEX, and during that time you got yourself 1 million Pulse X. Now, I do not recommend buying and swapping and doing all that shit on Ethereum, because the fees are trash. I do not believe the GUI has been below 40 GUI in over 20 days now at this point. It still remains at 56, so the fees are just absolutely trash, unusable network in my personal opinion. It should not cost $77 just to swap a token. So if you have $100, you can only end up getting, basically you had to pay $80 worth into Ethereum and you would get $20 of the token. That's not a good trade, y'all. That's a very bad trade. Why would you not do that when you can just come on in here, get yourself the exact same tokens on the Pulse Chain network and just buy it over here? You can buy HEX from Ethereum. You can buy wrapped Ethereum. You can buy your DAI. You can get your USDC. You can get your wrapped Bitcoin from Ethereum. And then eventually you'll find out that if you want faster, higher, quicker gains, the tokens that you should be looking for are Pulse, PLSX, the incentive token, HEX on Pulse Chain. Those are all going to crush it. Those are all going to crush it this cycle. Those are just my opinions. Again, not sponsored by anybody or anything like that. Just sharing my 2 cents. But you can buy your tokens over here, where it actually ends up costing pennies, y'all. Pennies to transact. I've pulled up the gas so many times before, but let's pull it up again. It costs 2 cents to swap on Pulse Chain right now. It costs 0.001, 1/10 of a penny, to actually send PLS to either yourself or anyone else. If you want to send a PRC20 token that's not just a swap and you're just sending it somewhere, 4/10 of a penny. This is the network to transact on. It's 3,700 times cheaper than Ethereum, 2,000 times cheaper than Bitcoin, and many times cheaper than all the other layer 1, layer 2 networks that are even out there right now. So cheaper than Binance, cheaper than Avalanche, cheaper than Base, cheaper than Dogecoin, cheaper than Arbitrum, cheaper than Optimism. Like, guys, if you want to transact, all of the tokens when Pulse Chain was created forked all of the Ethereum tokens over onto Pulse Chain. So everything that you had was copied and it's on Pulse Chain right now. Go check it out. Highly, highly, highly suggest that for anyone who may have just heard this for the very first time. Yeah, again, if you actually want to, I believe I actually had the spreadsheet for the Millionaire spreadsheet down below as well. So y'all are welcome to type in all your figures and all your numbers. It's available for anyone as well. So keep that in mind. Another little fun spreadsheet down there is a DCA calculator, which actually allows you to see, you know, what your initial price was, adding additional bag, what that would actually do to your DCA strategy, or where your average purchase price would be, so that way you can keep track of this information, so you know when to take profit on certain doubles, on 5Xs, on 10Xs. You want to know where your average entry level is, and again, that is all available down below. I do have additional spreadsheets created for the Patreon peeps as well. So to everyone in the Patreon, so much love to you. Again, it's more of a support the creator, just to have some fun. That's what we do here, to share your thoughts, to have some fun, and to have a community that you can actually talk to about crypto, because finding this in real life is tough, man. You can go talk to anyone in the street right now, and for the most part, they're getting their head wrapped around Bitcoin and Ethereum. You're always going to be hearing that. That's how I was onboarded into crypto, as a matter of fact. I was like, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Cardano. Those are my tokens. That's how I got in. Once I started learning some more, listening to Richard Hart talking about get money off centralized exchanges, I was like, oh, I wasn't even doing crypto right. I was in crypto, but I wasn't even doing it right. I had my funds on centralized exchanges. So if you have your funds on centralized exchanges, get your money off there. Save yourself the hassle. Do not cause yourself a headache, because that is absolutely trash. I don't want to see anyone get wrecked. Coinbase has already gone down multiple times since this bull market as well. And again, that's just from the recent purchases from the spot Bitcoin ETF being launched. And Coinbase has had its own issues. It's had 4 years to say, hey, how can we make this system even stronger and more resilient? Because every single bull cycle, it goes down. It's already gone down like 2 or 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, this cycle alone, since January, maybe since December of last year. But that's wild. There was a point in time where it showed $0 balances for people. Imagine you wake up one day, you open up your portfolio, and it says 0. Do you have a heart attack? I know I would absolutely freaking lose it. And there were people posting being like, I have $500,000 in Coinbase. I have $300,000 in Coinbase. Like, why do you have that kind of money in Coinbase? Money should not be like that. Money should not be on a centralized exchange. They can go down at a moment's notice. Have you not learned? Did you not learn anything from the FTX, from the freaking BlockFi, from Voyager? Did you not learn? Like, it is fast, y'all. You don't know when it's going to happen, and then they're just gone. Money's gone. I wouldn't put all or any money on a centralized exchange. The only reason to use centralized exchanges is a medium between your fiat world into your crypto world. it should not actually store any funds on that particular centralized exchange. For example, if you're trying to bring in $100,000, I don't recommend you just send $100,000 all at once. I do things in portions. You send 10, you send 10, you send 10, you send 10. And then once you send it out to your wallet. You send it out to your wallet. You send it out to your wallet. You do this over and over, and it saves yourself if the off chance that one day they just happen to collapse and they went down and that money is never to be seen again. Worst case, you only lost 10% of the portfolio. You're not going to be crying too much. But if you threw in 100,000 and that's the day that they decide to go bankrupt or belly up, or they can't have it anymore, or their system gets hacked, or whatever happens, who knows? But like, why put yourself in that predicament? Same thing for cashing out, y'all. If you've never cashed out large amounts of money, or even just cashed out in general, you don't just cash out one lump sum. I would not suggest that at all. Break it down at minimum into 3 transactions at minimum. But hey, neither here nor there. If you can break it down into more transactions, you're taking a less risk every single time. So you cash out, you have 10,000, like say you want to cash out 100,000, we'll use that same reference. You take it from your crypto wallet, send 10,000 into Coinbase or whatever centralized exchange that you're using, and then cash that into your bank. Once that's completed, send another 10, put that in your bank, send another 10, put that in your bank, send another 10, put that in your bank. And eventually you'll have the 100,000 over there. Who cares if it ended up costing $10 to do it? It saves yourself the headache of doing everything in one lump sum, which people lost money. I know people that lost money last cycle in 2022 that had funds on the centralized exchanges, and they cashed out thinking, I'm just going to take my profit. And as soon as they did the one lump sum, money was gone. FTX went down, BlockFi went down, Voyager went down, Celsius went down. Stop it. Like, guys, stop it. This is a common theme. And so I really cannot stress enough the importance of doing that, y'all. Yeah, let me just kind of go through chat real fast, real quick here. We got Marcavelli, yes. Benny Davis, ATX, thanks for all you do, appreciate that. Gloria, hello, good evening, all. Urban Productions, Insanity. It's funny how Bonk hit Coinbase. Yeah. Isn't that funny? And you know how that ended up happening is the people who created the token just give an allocation to the centralized exchanges. They don't list tokens unless they're paid by the token allocation. Like, they don't just list stuff for S's and G's. They have no reason to do that. Refresh my memory, I believe Ripple or XRP actually got its case dismissed. I'm going to pull up something real quick. Give me a second. XRP case dismissed. SEC. Yeah, I believe they actually fully... What? Why can't I pull that up? Okay, let me try this again a different way. Here we go. XRP case dismissed. SEC. Let me see what happened. This is not a settlement. This is a surrender by the SEC. The SEC said it would dismiss its lawsuit against Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse. So we already knew that, and that was back in the day. That was back in October. I could have sworn I just heard Ripple was handed a pivotal victory as judge ruled that XRP is not in and of itself a security following the SEC. That was back in November as well. Dude, I need something recent, man. Give me something recent here. What are we talking about? Tools. Let's do past week. Show me something here on this one. SEC versus Ripple lawsuit settlement prospects forecast. Okay, cool. So it still hasn't fully finished, I guess. But I thought I heard something along that nature. So that's just kind of one of those things. The SEC has continued to fail. Coinbase is taking up more action against the SEC to come up with more reasons. The SEC is trying to delay the spot Ethereum ETF. They're coming out with every reason under the sun as to why they can. Not only are they doing that, they're also trying to throw cold spaghetti or uncooked spaghetti against the wall to see if it sticks. For all the other SEC allegations that they sent out, which was a lot, by the way. Over the last year, they've basically gone and sent it out everywhere. Judge Torres will now assess the SEC's argument pending penalties for XRP post-sale, Yeah, okay, cool. So I don't think there's anything here. Ending the session, investors, daily coin, Ripple's fake, question. All right, well, shit, let me just kind of read through some crypto news. Why not? Why don't we? Let me just refresh some pages over on my end and get back to the chat to see what is happening in the market for everyone overall, and let me know what you got going on in your neck of the woods, what you may have been planning, and are you excited about the recent bull cycle that we are all going to be seeing, folks, because I certainly am. So let me pull up the, okay, cool. Let me actually pull it. I just want to make sure the stream was still good. And yeah, there's a reason why it actually got listed through it, because again, they pay the centralized exchanges an allocation of tokens, and the centralized exchanges typically just dump the tokens. It's like a bribe to say, just list my token, will you please? Bitcoin mining difficulty reaches new all-time high. How could that be possible, by the way? Craig Wright was in fact not the Bitcoin founder. Now, Richard Hart made this claim many years ago, and in fact called him out on a public scale. I'm actually going to pull up that video right meow while we are waiting on my refreshes on everything too. Hello, I hope this message finds you well. I represent and I can give you $2,500. I'm getting so many messages. I'll give you $2,000 to promote all of the tokens. I'll give you $5,000 to talk about this token. Like, yo, it's trash, man. It's trash. I got people messaging me, hey, can I come on your stream to talk about? No, you can't come on my stream to talk about nothing, man. I don't want to talk about those shit. I don't want people even hearing about it. But people are going to hear about it. Unfortunately, people are going to get scammed a whole lot of money. And I just caution everyone this cycle, be careful who you listen to. Be careful what you click on. Do not just click on anything just for S's and G's because you're just trying to make up some losses. That happens more often than I could even imagine, where people say that. I just want to make up the losses. Dude, come on, man. That's absolutely crazy. Here we go. Where did he go? Richard Hart, boom. All right, this little message right here. I'll even pull up the video. Is that the actual clip? Let me just see. Yep, sure. So this is Richard Hart actually going through and calling out Craig Wright in front of everyone. And this is actually, let me just share the screen too, just so that way everyone can see. So Richard Hart came through and he said, hey, remember when I called him out in person, in court just now? Judge, I will prepare a fairly long judgment. I have reached the conclusion the evidence is overwhelming. CSW, or Craig Wright, is not the author of the white paper. CSW is not Satoshi. CSW is not the creator of Bitcoin. CSW did not author the Bitcoin software. The above is paraphrased, of course, as what the judge ruled. He came through and actually talked about this as well, where Richard Hart calls him out. And he actually has a whole little script right here where he did, in fact, call him out. So I'm going to play this little clip real quick. Make sure the audio is on. Real fast, let me know if y'all can hear the audio as well. Before I get too far, give me a heads up, give me a thumbs up, give me something in the chat so that way I can know that the audio is coming through. I just want to make sure that everything was all good before I actually play too far into the clip. It is only 3 minutes long, so not too long. And again, I know that there's captions on too, but again, give me a heads up. Let me know if the audio is coming through on your end, so that way we can play the whole thing. I'm going to assume at this point in time that it's coming through. I don't see anyone messaging. Maybe my chat's getting delayed for some reason or something. Or y'all just don't know if the audio is coming through. But I'm going to play it. And this is basically Richard Hart calling out Craig Wright. I just saw a little chat thumbs down. Academia saying nada. So weird. Wonder why. Video, audio, display, properties, manual crop. Bless you. What else can I change over here? I believe y'all can hear it when I'm on this scene.
Which you'll find out at court soon, which they altered and they asked different questions and gave different answers to.
So we'll do a new one. Are you Satoshi?
Yes.
Okay. So you wrote the Satoshi white paper?
Yes.
And you implemented the 1 megabyte block limit?
I put a temporary limit in there after being badgered by Mr. Finney.
Right. So when you had access to the code base and could update the GitHub, and when you had access to your account on Bitcoin Talk, and when you had access to your Satoshi@gmx.com email, When did you decide that you would stop using those and stop having influence over the project? And then side channel appear as a broke guy later with no successful business interests, no Bitcoin tied to his address, no running from the government in Australia from the Australian tax office.
Sorry, I'm not actually...
Switch it back and restart? Okay, hold up. Give me one sec. Let me actually know, because I turned up the audio as well. I didn't realize the audio was down as low as it was. So give me a heads up. Okay, cool. Share. I could definitely share that as well. Here we go. Give me a heads up if the audio ever came through on the stream. Because I turned up the audio as well. I didn't realize the audio was down as low as it was.
I put a temporary limit in there after being badgered by...
I'm checking it out on my end real fast. One sec.
So when you had access to the code base and could update the GitHub, and when you had access to your account on Bitcoin Talk, and when you had access to your Satoshi@gmx.com email, when did you decide that you would stop using those and stop having influence over the project?
Okay, cool. It doesn't come through whenever I share the screen. Super weird. That is super weird, man. I don't know why. But I'm going to play it in the background. It seems like everyone can hear it right there, so I'm just going to play it in the background.
Do you want
Questions from the audience?
I don't. Why do you pretend to not be a total fool?
Well, I saw you in an interview on screen saying, I don't ever want to be in the public again. You know, you've bothered my family, you've bothered me, you've bothered the people I work with. This will be the last time that you ever see me. Those words from your mouth.
That's actually, I didn't want to go on television then. Please don't bullshit. One, that was an hour interview that was cut and changed, which you'll find out in court soon, which they altered and they asked different questions and gave different answers to.
So we'll do a new one. Are you Satoshi?
Yes.
Okay. So you wrote the Satoshi white paper.
Yes.
And you implemented the 1 megabyte block limit.
I put a temporary limit in there after being badgered by Mr. Finney.
Right. So when you had access to the code base and could update the GitHub, and when you had access to your account on Bitcoin Talk, and when you had access to your Satoshi@gmx.com email, when did you decide that you would stop using those and stop having influence over the project? And then side channel appear as a broke guy later with no successful business interests, no Bitcoin tied to his address, no running from the government in Australia from the Australian tax office.
Sorry, I'm not actually running from Australia. I'm in Britain. You know those extradition laws in Britain to Australia? Sorry, morons who make things up. That's called libel and slander. That's why I've already got a number of people in court, because they're dumb. They have no idea that you can't basically be a public figure in Britain and run from the government.
Right. You're only a public figure because you cosplay as Satoshi, right?
No,
Real Satoshi would still be writing Bitcoin premium courses. Real Satoshi would have been there with me fighting against BCH and taking ground. But you didn't even fork real Bitcoin. You forked a copy of Bitcoin. You made a copy of a copy.
I did not fork Bitcoin. Segwit forked Bitcoin.
Right.
So, you want to say these things and whatever else, and you want to say blah, blah, blah. No, I actually made a deal with Jihan. Jihan actually stabbed us in the back, so that's a different issue.
I was watching you during the hash rate race when you were competing with Kelvin's hash rate from CoinGeek to try and actually take over as the authority of the chain against Bcash.
No, actually, we lost. All right, dude.
Guys, I'm telling you right now, that's another situation where you can say Richard Hart was right. Right, this whole situation, the whole cheering, everything happening, Richard Hart was right. Once again, he's calling him out, basically saying, fake Toshi over here, trying to say that he's the creator. This man right here, Craig Wright's the real person who created Bitcoin and wrote the white paper and everything like that. First he tries saying like, oh, just this news article, and then Richard Hart basically says, hey, I'll ask you straight up, are you Satoshi? And he's like, yes. Well, come to find out, guys, that was back, let me actually get the date. That was 4 years ago. The exact date was November 16th, 2019, my friends and family. That was 4 years ago at this point in time, nearly 5, okay, 4.5 years ago. Got called out, and then exactly like you see today, it come to find out this dude's years ahead into the future, Craig Wright is not the Bitcoin founder. The UK court declared it. This dude created, man, I don't know if y'all were watching this whole trial when everything was actually happening. He went through and changed evidence. He altered the data inside. He tried doing everything he possibly could to maintain that he was, in fact, Bitcoin or Satoshi Nakamoto. He tried everything. The trial spanned 6 weeks. Copa challenging Wright's assertion, pointing out that he had allegedly provided false evidence and changed his story when faced with contradiction. They were lied. They lied on stands. They were called out. Like, I think there should be more litigation brought about the fact that he lied under oath. Right? Perjury is a real thing. Wright had pursued several lawsuits in the past 5 years asserting his rights as the founder of the premier cryptocurrency. Copa's legal action aimed to halt Wright's claims and prevent future litigation. They expressed a goal of stopping Wright from making further Satoshi claims to avoid legal disputes, citing concerns over possible legal repercussions from Wright. Trash, y'all. Trash. Now, we did see this go live yesterday. Again, Dinkin is finally live. Did it actually reduce fees? We talked about this earlier. No. Just before the Dinkin upgrade went live, the average gas fee on Ethereum was 66 Gwei, one of the highest levels in the last 6 months. That is a lie as well, because you can actually go to Etherscan itself and see that it's been at 124. What are we talking? 124, 104. Like, this is all within the last week. 119. That article is crazy, man, but neither here nor there. Talking about the last 6 months. Okay, sure. This meant that it cost $5.49 to transfer one Ethereum and about $95 to exchange tokens on a DEX. The commission for one non-fungible token sold on the Ethereum network would have costed around $160. It has been above 40 for the last 20 days, so an average of 60, I'm not even going to believe that either. The long-awaited Dinkin upgrade is finally here. It's finally live. It implemented EIP 4844, which, by the way, this is also coming over to Pulse Chain. Why is it coming over to Pulse Chain? Because Pulse Chain forked everything from Ethereum, the entire system state. So any upgrades that Ethereum implements going forward into the future will be implemented, or should I say can be implemented, onto Pulse Chain. Meaning that if Ethereum ever gets their shit together and actually lowers the fees and brings it down and does a true sharding to help itself for the network lower its fees, that same system can be used on Pulse Chain. So even if Ethereum drops another 10% or another 90% in this situation, so instead of 60 Gwei, it goes back down to 6 Gwei or 7 Gwei or 8 Gwei, below 10 again, and instead of costing $90 to transact, it costs, we'll say, 20, maybe 10, right? That same system can be brought over onto Pulse Chain, y'all. So everything that's going to happen with Ethereum can be implemented onto Pulse Chain, thereby making it so that way if Ethereum gets their shit together, Pulse Chain is even better and will maintain better gas the entire time. There's no point in time, or even if Pulse Chain does a 14,000x and Ethereum 8 years from now gets their shit together and lowers its fee, guess what? Pulse Chain can do the same thing. Lower its fees as well. But the report indicates that the network effects and liquidity benefits are particularly favorable for Ethereum, attracting new financial applications and developers. An additional benefit to ETH's layer 2 networks grown. And again, we definitely saw that happen. The whole thing actually happened with it in an interview with Consensus. A researcher on the Ethereum Foundation explained that with the Dinkin upgrade, the protocols on the network have to just be completed with everyone else using the same mechanism. But now with the update, they will have their place. It did not lower its fees for Ethereum at all, by the way. The fees maintained above 60 even after the Dinkin upgrade, which just launched yesterday or 2 days ago, I believe now at this point in time. It just went live. And I think it was just yesterday, as a matter of fact. My days are just blending in together now. But all the layer 2s got cheaper fees. So congrats to the layer 2s, but it doesn't help out with Ethereum. Does it say anything about the actual item here? Felipe told Gnosis. This includes temporary data with extremely important previously all data used by layer 2s stored indefinitely on all Ethereum nodes. Now the new data will be deleted in about 2 weeks. Lower fees, expectation, and reality. So on March 11th, the block experts predicted that after updating Dinkin, the cost of DEX swap on various layer 2 solutions, including Arbitrum, Optimism, and Base, would decrease. And again, this is just kind of like the estimate. It went from $2 on Arbitrum to 40 cents. It went from $1.42 on Optimism to 28 cents. Went from 58 cents on Base to a penny. Again, Arbitrum projected experience a substantial crash in gas costs, which might plummet from $2. Yeah, I mean, all these things are just kind of a sad little item. Neither here nor there, I guess. But that's just so that way everyone can know. I hope that makes some sense. I am using a bitrate of 6800, you silly goose. But yeah, hopefully that makes some sense to everyone. Richard Hart, once again, was right. Surprise, surprise. This actually has continued to happen over and over and over and over, and it continues to happen over and over and over and over. And so with everything happening on the Ethereum network, even for the HEX side, I want to bring up another tweet that he actually said, because everyone freaked out on him for selling or doing anything like that, when in reality, it was actually the people who ended up screwing it up on that one. So let me actually do a little refresh on this. All right, cool. We're just going to do a refresh on the chat as well, so that way hopefully that'll get a little upgrade here after I did a little swap. If you like the recent Ethereum upgrade, I heard a rumor that's coming to Pulse Chain. But sir, what if price? Okay, cool. So that one was there. When did he actually put the other one here? Give me a sec. Let me look through. Because whenever he tweets a lot, it's pretty fun, but it's tough to look through some of the tweets sometimes. Privacy protocols, recent updates. Funny how the drama affect little on these prices. Yeah, some of these are hilarious. All right, cool. So this is something that I think everyone needs to hear as well, especially in the ecosystem for us. But let me just kind of read through the chat over on my other screen real quick. So we got CW the fraud for sure. Craig Wright is the fool 100%. Stressful Struggle says don't ever give up. Urban Productions laughing at the cosplay. Yeah, he's definitely cosplaying a Satoshi. No longer. That was proven in court, and he was made to look like an absolute fool. So I can't imagine the litigations that are going to come out against him at this point in time. Not only that, but also the perjury that he had, because lying, all that stuff on Stan. All of it, guys, all of it. Lying under oath, all of it. Hack Emaciated says, RH all calm and cool, 100%. I actually built the space shuttle in my garage, lol. Facing Reality, what's up, my boy? Mr. Chinks, even then, even if he proved, how the hell is he going to get access to Satoshi Wallet anyways? 100%. What does it cost to end a stake on ETH at the current Gwei price? A lot. Yeah, a lot. Let's just let's put it there and just kind of make it simple. But I'll give you 2 examples, and then I'll just give you one example, I guess, first. So let me actually pull it up on my end, because this was a stake that I had from 2 years ago. And from that time, it has, in fact, costed quite a bit of money. Surprise, surprise, right? And again, like, I'm not really surprised when I say that, because it, like, everyone knows this at this point in time. It costs a lot on the Ethereum network. But let me go to the Ethereum. Yep, I'm on Ethereum. So here's one stake that I had. And let me see if I can pull this up over on my end for this screen. All right, cool. So basically, if I wanted to end this stake, this is something that I created back in March of 2022. Today is March 14th of 2022. So it's 13 days late. It was only 2.5 hex, or 2,500 hex. At the time, I only staked 1,900. Because again, guys, there was a point in time where I just did these little small stakes. I never knew what was going to happen. Most of my stakes are large. I do have plenty. I did plenty of small stakes too, right? And so I did this one 2 years ago, and I was like, all right, cool. What's going to happen in 2 years? Who knows? It's going to be close to the bull market. What if price is this? What if that's? So I ended up just doing like very small amounts on some of them. So if I went to go end this one right here today, if I go to try to end it, and let's just kind of wait for this. It's going to cost $454 to actually end the stake. And I'm not going to end it because that is not worth it. So like, no. No, that's at today's current GWE at 57 GWE, by the way. So even if you reduce that by double right now and it goes down to 28 GWE or something like that, still not worth it. Cost $200 to end a stake that's $7 or whatever the price was for that amount of HEX. You know, again, because the price just recently just took a little dip or a little hit. Yeah, I'm not going to end it. Nope. I'll let that one bleed out. But what's cool is all of the stuff was actually forked over. All the stuff was actually forked over to Pulse Chain. So I went to go end the stakes over there. Cost 2 pennies. Cost like a penny. It was super cheap. So yeah, I could even end some of those small stakes even with the value what they were because it cost a penny. Like, sign me up for that. So Richard came through on here and basically said, Richard, Hex on Ethereum is your firstborn. Let Hexicans get nuked for another 100 million in fees because you're firstborn, bro. Ignore the already wonderfully working Hex on Pulse Chain, bro. Ignore the markets already chose, bro. Ignore the liquidity, bro. Firstborn, bro. And that's just 100 million of fees with years where the fees were far lower. It would be even more now, much more. And I 100% agree with that. And this is to break it down to everyone who's like freaking out in the ecosystem right now. Guys, you chose this. You didn't provide liquidity for EHEX on Ethereum. You provided it on Pulse Chain for HEX. You sold EHEX. The chain shows none of the EHEX sacrifice seems sold on the open market. Hello? You sold, you pushed the price down. Don't cry at me that I noticed. Don't cry at me that you wanted to bait people into more fees. Don't pretend that your asses weren't saved by the free copies you got that saved you from the gas fee horror. How amazingly ungrateful many of you are. You were saved for free through the sacrifice of others. And here's the great part. It's for the better. It's entirely absurd to expect people to pay $400 for a swap, and that is literally what you have to pay to get the best swap execution on ETH for a HEX currently. It's entirely absurd to pay $400 to end a stake. We just saw my stake right there cost $400. That is absurd. And this is with the ETH fees low comparatively to what we've seen before. Imagine if GWE is sitting at 100, which we just saw even a couple of days ago. It's absurdly high. You guys, the market made the price. You guys, the market made the liquidity. You guys sold. Heck, you guys also bid up the ETH fee price. You are part of why ETH fees are as high as they are. No raindrop thinks it's a flood. Guys, repeat that again. No raindrop thinks it's the flood. So you selling, thinking, I'm just going to get out and I won't do it. You know, I'm just saving myself. You're causing it right now. Embrace your salvation. Say thank you. Not financial advice. Past performance is no guarantee of your future. Pretty simple. Pretty simple, y'all. That's not rocket science on that one. Okay. What's up, Crypto Bigfoot? What we doing, ATX? Just having fun. How's the $5 a day going? Are you gonna start getting ink too? Yeah, I don't do that through the $5 DCA wallet, but yes, I am. I have been purchasing my incentive token along with the incentive token that I earned by yield farming. So yeah. But yeah, I mean the $5 DCA, we'll take a little gander. I mean, I'm actually gonna plan on making a video on that tomorrow. Maybe not tomorrow, but I'll at least do the recording. I'll start editing and all that good stuff. Do a quick little update with the recent price impact on what we actually saw happen with the Ethereum HEX side of things. The portfolio took a smidge of a hit, but everything else is still up. So yeah, I'll be sharing all that information. Keep track if you want to keep track of the DCA journey as well that I'm doing. It's part of the Pulse Challenge. I've been doing it for now 6 months. I'm going to be doing a 6-month update. Again, I'm going to make the video, record it, and do some editing and stuff tomorrow. So to end a stake on ETH at the current GWE prices, I just showed that cookie. Market value matters how long it is. It does. You know, again, mine was 2 years. It doesn't matter how much. It matters how long. Because it has to go through and calculate the payout per T-share every single day. And so it puts a lot of the S-load function. Anyways, long story short, jacks up the price of the cost to end a stake on the Ethereum network, whereas on Pulse Chain, pennies. So yeah, even if it costs dollars in the future, okay, still a hell of a lot better than $400, right? So like, keep that in mind. What else we got? So I have a stake ending in a couple of weeks. Yeah, just be mindful of that. What we doing, Bigfoot? I just showed. How's the dollar DCA going? Are you going to start getting ink, Twin Fam? Yep. What? I'll have to let it bleed out? Yes, Pulse Chain stakes are our joy. Yeah, I'm going to let mine. So here's the deal. if your stake is worth $1,000, okay? So let's just see what is $1,000 currently in HEX price right now. So let's just say I wanted to get 1,000. Cool. You need roughly around 368,000 Ethereum HEX to have been staked and earn the interest during that time. So, or earn the accumulated daily yield payout, that trustless yield payout. If you just have it to where you may have staked, we'll say 100,000, 2 years go by, you got yourself, I don't want to just say, okay, so say you staked out 200. I'm just going to use some real easy numbers. Say you staked out 200,000, you staked it out for 2 years. You now have roughly around 260, 270,000 at that point in time. Does it make sense? If you end up doing 270,000 HEX today, it would be roughly around $700. If the fee is somewhere in the ballpark of 400, it makes sense to go ahead and just end it, pay the fee as shitty as it is, and then you're welcome to move it over when gas fees are lower, bring it over to the Ethereum network and do what you want there, swap it for whatever you want. But again, just be mindful of that, because you can absolutely get wrecked on certain things if you're just trying to end it on a day. So if you don't know, with HEX in particular, after the stake ends, there's a 14-day window before it is starting to get penalized. The way a penalty works is if you do not end the stake after 14 days, every week that goes by after that is a 1% penalty on the overall stake, all the way out to 100 weeks. So by the time 2 more years go by, you would lose 100% of that entire stake, and it would just be bled out, and the entire ecosystem for stakes would be able to accumulate that if you were staked. That's how the system works. So am I going to let those bleed out? Probably. Like, I don't see a situation where I end a $7 stake to pay $400. I can just take $400 right now and just go buy more of the token. A heck of a lot more of the token, as a matter of fact. So, like, basically, if I wanted to come in right now, instead of paying the Ethereum fee of $400, what if I just took the $400 and bought HEX? I'm just using this as an example. Do what you will with it, with this information. But say instead, I just wanted to take that $400 and bought HEX instead. Well, I would get 144,000 HEX. Again, that stake alone only had, if I'm not mistaken, only had 2.5 thousand HEX, 2,500 HEX. Okay, I can get way more than that right now, right? Like, so much more than that right now. So why would I pay the Ethereum fee to end that stake? Well, I wouldn't. But if you're in a situation where you already had the HEX and it's worth more than it costs to end the stake, not just like a flat's like a break-even type of deal, but just more than it costs to end the stake, it makes sense to pay the fee. As shitty as it is, pay attention to the GWI, pay attention to the gas fees, be mindful of this information. Don't just end it on the day your stake ends, because the day the stake ends, the GWI could be a stupid high number, even right now. But what if over the next 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, you actually get to see the GWI drop below 20? Cool. In that situation, you may just take that 1% penalty. It's well worth taking the 1% penalty to not pay $400, $500, $600 in GWI. I can go buy more on the open market right now instead of actually paying the Ethereum fee. Does that make sense? So that's the plan that I would do. That's what I actually have done. So I got 2 stakes bleeding right now because they were both small stakes and they aren't worth ending. $7, $13. That's not worth it. I'm not about to pay $200, $500, any of that. Echo, come here. Echo, no man.
What you yelling at? No, come here. Wait, no.
Go.
Come here. Come over there.
1 second, y'all. 1 second.
Hey. You don't growl. Sit. Sit. I made plenty. I made plenty of noise.
1 second, y'all.
I'm late because I had to take a phone call, so I'm gonna run out with Charlie and be right back.
Okay, sounds good. All right. All right. So, yeah, hopefully that makes sense to everyone. I'm seeing a little notice over here on my end as well saying YouTube is not receiving.
Love you.
Love you. Frustrating. So, yeah, that is what I would do right now if you have a stake ending and it's not more than a couple 100,000 HEX. It may be worth... Okay, sounds good. it may be worth to look at different options in that situation. And instead of paying the gas fees, you can look at letting it just bleed and just buying more on the open market. All of that good stuff. Here we go. Richard is right. Richard's been right, guys. Like, let's just call it what it is. As much as everyone's just like mad at the open market right now and mad at the prices and mad at Richard for tweeting and mad at everything like that, at the end of the day, I do genuinely believe that this man has your best interest at heart. At the very bottom of all of this, he did give you Pulse Chain. All of the stuff that you had on Ethereum was forked and copied over for free. So every token that you had, every ERC20 token, not just the HEX stakes, not just the HEX you had liquid, not just any of that, literally every ERC20 token was copied over onto Pulse Chain. So if you had Hedron, Icosa, if you had all these tokens, they were all copied over. So congrats, you got free tokens, right? And so I just want to share that with everyone because Richard's got it. I mean, dude, he's thinking 4 years ahead. That video with Craig Wright was damn near 4.5, 5 years ago right now at this point in time, calling Craig Wright in front of everybody, calling him out, saying, dude, you're cosplaying as Satoshi, right? You could pull up all the videos and times where Richard Hart was right. And again, I wouldn't bet against the man. Like, you may not understand the whole vision right now. I don't fully grasp everything. I'm not like, I don't have that insight, right? He's playing, we call it 4D chess or whatever. He's literally making moves years ahead into the future, trying to look for everyone's best interests at heart. At the end of the day, that's all I'll say. So just leave it like it is. Marcavelli, including gas fee. Yeah, large, shorter, rolling stakes get a lot of ES bonuses and don't cost nearly as much to end stake. There you go. It's a 125,000 hex worth about 280 USD. So in that situation, you could be able to just wait until GWEI comes into a reasonable level, Cookie. So if the GWEI comes into a reasonable level, now again, do not just end your stake just because the stake is ending, right? Look at the GWEI, see when it makes sense to end it. So if the GWEI is in the 20s again, it might be very beneficial to go ahead and just take advantage of it, because then at that point in time, you know, you could be sitting on $500 and it may only cost you $200 to end it. Take advantage of it. That's a perfect opportunity, right? But again, you got to make that decision for yourself at the end of the day. But if it's going to cost so much more than what the hexes that you have in that stake, just go buy that same amount of hex instead of paying the fee. That's what I would say. If you're going to pay the $400 fee to end a $7 stake or a $20 stake or a $100 stake, you're a crazy human being. You're doing it just to do it and just go through the action, but you're not thinking of the best plan possible. Again, you can go get 3 times, 4 times, 5 times as much on the open market right now instead of paying the validators to pay for the GWEI to get it done that way. And then we saw it go up 69% within like a day. So if you happen to like buy instead of ending the stake, you actually put $400 in there, and then it's almost, you know, close to $600, $700 already at that point in time, just if you had purchased. So and again, guys, the market's freaking crazy, right? So there's no way of knowing exactly what it is, but hopefully that makes more sense, Cookie. Transactions on ETH were 5 cents 4 years ago. It's more than that to transact on Pulse Chain. Small long stakes on Pulse Chain could be just as wrecked. I'm not that crazy. I know you're not, Cookie. I'm just letting everyone know who's listening, because we got plenty of folks who are asking or curious about the same question. But keep that in mind, y'all. I really do want to genuinely share this information, because like right now, instead of you paying $400, just go buy $400 on the open market. So like, instead of me getting, again, like, you don't have to just buy Ethereum hex. I'm just saying, in this example, if you wanted to have that ending of your stake so you could have your hex liquid, why would you go pay $400 to end it when I'm only end up getting $10, $20, $100 in value in the token? Just go buy it on the open market on Pulse Chain, where the fees are freaking cheap. Cheap, y'all. Cheap. So hopefully that makes some sense to everyone, because yeah, I feel like it definitely needs to be said. We got plenty of people who have just freaked out. Speaking of, did y'all see the freaking 60 hex per t-shirt that we got yesterday? Oh my god. Like, yo, that's wild, y'all. That is this right here. This shit right here. Yo, that's freaking crazy. 60.5. There was $1 billion in hex penalties from people ending their stakes early on the Ethereum network. And I got paid like all the t-shirts that, oh my gosh, all of it, man, mwah, incredible. So I'm happy, and I still see I'm an optimistic person at heart. So maybe I wholeheartedly believe in things, but look, if you had, again, 2020, so 20 in HEX, 20% in Pulse Chain HEX, 20% in Pulse Chain, 20% in Pulse X, and 20% in the incentive token, and you got 20% just cut right off because the HEX price getting nuked as it did, well, you still got 80% of your portfolio. Do not try to go chase and make up some of the gains or losses that you may have felt like you incurred, because there's no telling what's going to happen in the future. Like Ethereum HEX could still do something. It may only be a 10x, it may only be a 20x, whereas all the other ones are 300, 400, 500, 600, 1000x. But you still got something. So like I'm not making any freaking rash decisions. And again, I still buy every single day. So hey, that's my own opinion, and that's my thoughts as well. But hopefully that makes some sense. Now, again, guys, that's going to wrap it up for the stream today. For whatever reason, I'm going to figure out some more information on making this possible to be better and simple and better and simple and better and simple. But I got so much love for every single one of y'all. I will catch you in tomorrow's Market Pulse in the morning. Until then, have a wonderful afternoon. Keep calm and remain strong.
I wanna be the best in the game, invest in my name. Check no restraints, I'm obsessed with the pain. I ingest, I retain, assess and I change. Possessed by the thought I'll be free one day from society's restraints. Money, clout and fame, mud disease.